go out and then we're with friends. And I just want to be myself. And then I look at him like, okay. And I find myself like, okay, did I do something wrong? Is my clothes okay? You're asking questions. Okay, did I?
Right.
You have to keep going because, people get into this thing is like, okay, I got what I want. I'm going to let myself go. No, I get what I want and I get. Doesn't like the gym. I love to be at church most of the time. He doesn't go to church all the time. But that's balance because I just know who he is. I can't make him do what he doesn't want to do. And he can't make me do what, tell me what you want. Teach me what you want.
Hello, Queen. It's your girl, Nikki O, here again with another amazing episode with an amazing wife to talk to you once again about the possibilities. No matter what the state of your marriage might be in, the goal is to make sure you're happy, you find the happy within you. Otherwise, it's not going to work regardless. And so I'm excited about my guest today, and she's going to tell you all about herself. But her name is Miriam. She's been married 29 years. So you all go get your pen and paper because she can tell you a thing or two, right? She has two grown-up kids, and one actually just recently got married, and it was an amazing wedding. And so without further ado, I am going to bring on my amazing friend, my amazing sister, Miss Miriam Akinyemi, who is going to tell us all about herself. Sis! How are you? It's so good to have you here. Thank you so much for honoring the call. Thank you. It just blows my mind that you said yes, and I'm thankful. And tell the family, the queens, a little bit about you. What do you do? How, anything that you want to share that might be of interest or fascination to anyone.
Okay. I'm Miriam Akinyemi with two boys. Been married for 29 years. It's not easy.
All 29 ain't no joke.
No, it's not easy. I'm a social butterfly, and my husband is not. So it's like night and day. I like fellowship. He likes home buddies. So sometimes we overlap, but guess what? There's balance because he knows that's where my joy is, and he lets me be me. Wow. It was difficult in the beginning, but he says that's where my happiness is. So he let me be me. I travel with my girlfriends once a year. We go out of the country, just with the girls. He doesn't get to go. And you know what? It's not easy because in the beginning it was control. But as we got older, change is not about them. It's about us.
Say that again. Yes.
It's not them, but it's us. Because, some people get into marriage, well, he'll change. No, he's not going to change. We change and we adapt to who they are. At same thing, they do the same to who we are. Like I said, I like people. I like to go out. And there's a balance. I love to dance. He got two left feet.
So let's talk. What do you do for a living?
Actually, I was in healthcare for 25 years.
Wow.
I retired at 50. I took a year off, did nothing. I turned 50. I retired at 50. That's what I did. And I took a year off and I just traveled. I tried to be a stay-home wife. Lord Jesus, it was hell. Did not like it. I needed human beings around me because I just stayed home. I did volunteer, but still, I'm a numbers person. So I needed to put my hands. So I took a year off. And then I came back. I started temping in DC at one of the associations in a nonprofit in DC. So I temped there for like 6 months. They loved me because I made the place vibrant. Because who is this person? But I'm a people person. So wherever I go, what you see is what you get. So I made it very fun and interacting. And I was only just a temp, and it's like, okay. I said, my agency said, okay, it's time to go. And I said, okay, I'm ready to leave. But guess what? They said I had to stay. They would not let me go.
Wow.
So I said, okay, let me think about it. I took 6 weeks off just to think about if that was what we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked about it. I said, okay, I needed to go back. So we talked about it, and I went back. But guess what? From where I was, because I was temping at the front desk, it's like, nope, because I wanted something very easy and simple. It says, no, with your background, because my background is in finance. So
Mm.
they moved me to my own office,
Look at
and I
that.
joined the CEO as an assistant finance manager.
Look at that.
That was it.
Amazing. So,
Yeah, I've been there 5 years now.
so you're making things happen, right? You're a busy woman, like pretty much everyone out here. You are high achieving, go getter, making, doing what you do
Yes.
best, right? And yet you're still maintaining a home and
Yeah.
try to kind of,
So
juggle all of those. But now it's a little easier because, of course, your children are grown.
then,
Tell
yeah,
me what life was like when you had just gotten married and your children were young, and your personalities have always been opposite, evidently. So what
yes.
was that like?
You know what? The funny thing is, we actually complimented each other.
Mm,
It was a good thing. Some things I did not get because I thought it was very arrogant. Because my husband has that look on his face. Because I always ask him, I say, "You look upset." He says, "No, that's just my look." But it's like when people see you look very arrogant, like Mr. Know It All. And I used to tell him, "No, you can't do that because that's what people see first of all." It's like you just you know, Nikki, just the look on his face. And I was like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm fine." So it took me a while to adapt to that look,
mhm.
even though that's not what he was perceiving. That's what I saw.
Yeah, yes.
But I saw, and we had to adjust. As like being around me, I'm always laughing, smiling, and then for him to look that way, it diminished who I was because it's like, okay, they look at me and they look at like, okay, are they okay? That's the people who ask, "Are you guys okay?" It's like we're fine, but people didn't think we're fine because of just that irritation look. I always call it. You look irritated, is what I would tell him. That look on, like, you look irritated. Like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "No, I'm just fine." But he's with him when he looks like that, he's processing the environment. I had to learn that he's just processing the environment where he's at. So
So that's a good point that you just made, because again, we all get married and we think, oh, it's gonna always be roses and
nah,
whatever that is. But then you find out that you have this little bit of thing here where, okay, now how you did you just have to live with it? Did you talk to him about it? What happened to the point where you just were like, okay, you know what? That's just what it is, and you can't. Because you made a statement just now
mhm.
that it diminished who you were. Why did you think that his look or how he looked on the outside diminished you?
Because normally, like if we go out, like normally we'll go out and then we're with friends, and I just want to be myself. And then I look at him like, okay. And I find myself, okay, did I do something wrong? Is my clothes okay? You're asking questions. Okay, did I wear something right? Am I making him look good? Your mind is going based on the look on the face. It's like, okay, did I? So I'll ask him, no. So what I took for years, I'll wear an outfit like, okay, does this look okay? I'll be asking his approval. Okay, is this okay to wear with you going out? I was taking permission. Instead of being who I was, I will ask, okay, is this okay? Because I didn't want that look when we went outside.
Hmm.
I did not. And I'm like, okay, that's not who I am. So I find myself being quiet, and then I don't know what happened. The kids came. I was busy with the kids. I was very busy with the kids because I know I did neglect the home because the kids were my tunnel vision was just the kids. So I
Okay.
didn't care. It was my babies. Forget him. That was right there. That was right there. Because my kids are 4 years apart. So the first pregnancy was hard. The second one was just as hard. So I only thought I was going to have one child anyway. But
Mm-hmm.
that's why they're 4 years apart. But it took me a minute to that's just who he is. And I always tell folks we can't change who they are.
That's
I
right.
just had to adapt to just who he was. So I found myself saying, okay, we're going out. I'm going to be myself. If you think I'm doing too much, let me know. But guess what? I'm going to be me.
There you go.
And I became who I was. And the funny thing about it is when I became, it's like this flower just blossomed. When I became who I was, the invitations came like, bring your wife. She made things, come on, make sure she's coming. So I was like, okay, is he boring or what am I? I used to ask myself that question. Like, what's going on? Because most times it's like, I'm not just like, oh, no, you have to come. I'm like, okay. At first, okay, are you putting me on a pedestal? Are you trying to show me off? My
Mhm.
mind would always go.
Mm.
Because there was one time I went out with him, and I don't even know. I went out and we were with friends, and they thought I was his girlfriend, not knowing I was Miriam.
Wow. Why would they think you were his girlfriend?
Because I don't even know how much change. I guess I changed, or I don't even know. But I guess he says, so the one of us says, where is Miriam? I said, and I looked around, where is Miriam? I'm here.
That
And
must have been a drastic
was
change.
it was because I was in the gym, I was exercising, I took care of me. I was number one. I was very selfish. I became who I was, and I said, you know what? I'm not diminishing myself for anybody. So
Ooh.
that one time, and like the guy called the house, like, who is this woman you brought with you? I'm like, huh? Huh? I said, that was me. They could not believe it. And I'm looking like, did I change that? Because I think I have a picture of it. And I went back to, because I was sitting on his lap. I was being who I was, which is what I normally don't do. I sat on his lap, I was giving him a hug. We're playing, playful, which is something I don't really do outside. But
Right.
this time I didn't even care.
Wow. So okay, this is good. This is good. So this is amazing because what you're saying is not that different from what a lot of us as wives have encountered and
Hmm.
are still probably encountering,
Hmm.
right? For whatever reason, we audition for the role of wife.
Hmm.
For some reason, we have it in our minds that we have to audition for the role of wife,
Exactly.
which is crazy in itself. We audition for the role, we get the role, and
Uh-huh.
then all of a sudden, we're looking at it going, wait a minute, this is not what I signed up for.
Hmm.
But in wanting to still make things whatever it is we've cooked up in our own heads,
Hmm. Hmm.
we then become a shell of our own selves,
Yes. Yes. We
right?
yeah, like you said, we auditioned, but the audition continues forever. You
Which is
don't.
not right.
You have to keep going because people get into those things like, okay, I got what I want. I'm gonna let myself go. No, I get what I want, and I improve on myself.
That's
You
right.
don't let yourself go. You improve on yourself. So I'm at that stage in my life. Is I dress up, I go out. It's like, where you going like that? Like, I'm going out with the girls. You know? Oh, you look nice. Like, yes, I do. You're saying that kind of stuff, and you give him a big head. And it's like, okay, that's my wife. That's my wife. And then I'm going at, he'll be on the phone. Oh, he's on the phone. He's like, okay, my wife is good. Let me see. Let me check her out. And he's on the phone with his friends. I'm like, who are you talking to? I'm here. I'm loud about it. It's like, oh, she's going out. I just need to check her out. I say, okay, here I am. Do I look present? You look present. Now you can go. But
Okay.
give them a big head.
Mm.
That's all it is.
That
And
that
don't change them. Do not change who they are.
well, you can't. You will
Not.
be frustrated through the yin yang trying to change them. Ask me how I know. Because, because when you know the saying, if someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Believe it. Yes.
There's nothing about to change about them at all.
Mm.
Whatever, and I tell wives, women who are about to get married, who are looking to get married, be sure that what you're looking at and what you're getting is what you can live with for the rest of your life.
Exactly. And I encourage counseling before marriage.
Absolutely.
I encourage
If he
have
does
that.
this little thing,
I didn't
right?
have that. I did
Oh,
not
you
do that.
didn't have that?
I
Okay.
did not.
We'll talk
Never.
about that in a minute.
I
So
did.
if he does this little thing that right now is like, oh, that's so cute, you better think about that thing, because as cute as it is now, you're going to be living with it for the rest of it. Can you? And
Can
if
you?
there's a no in there anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
there needs to be some discussions had. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, this thing right there. But we ignore the red flags.
Always, because we want to be.
Because it's also cute. Because
Mhm.
why? Again, we're just doing what we thought we were supposed to do, right? We did the thing. We went to school. We got a good education. We now have a good job. Check, 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 check. Now it's time to get married. So this person that comes along, whether good, bad, or indifferent, we're like, well, we'll just make it work. I'll change him and make him into what I want him to be.
Never.
And he's looking at you like he has dug his feet in the ground. I'm not. This is who I am, and this is what I tell wives. I say your husband did not lie to you. I say whatever he's doing right now, he was doing, and he never lied to you.
Exactly.
You refused to take him at face value for who he was. So now you can't come and tell me, well, he does this. Well, yes.
It. You just want to be married, a title of being married.
Yes.
Don't let anyone push you into marriage.
That's it.
When we get older, our family members like, oh, this, that, my girlfriend's. Don't be yourself. When the right person comes, he comes.
He comes.
Not everybody needs to be married too. My bishop preaches that all the time. All of you need to be married. And all our parents that used to push us, we are Africans. They expect all their daughters to be married. That's the joy of every parent, right?
Yes.
We have to be married. Like, no, you don't have to be married. Be happy in your own skin, in your own self. Even now that I've passed the stage where I have no kids, I do things. I go dancing. At the church, I'd have a dance group. I do things for me, because guess what? He can't make me happy. I make me happy.
Oh, you are jumping the gun. This is good, because this is it right here. That's the juice. Because yet again, we audition, we get in the marriage, now he hasn't necessarily lost interest, but he's got the prize. So now it's not that big a deal anymore, and he's off doing his own thing. But then here you are, the wife, expecting something more.
Exactly.
First and foremost, like you spoke about, if there was no counseling and probably no major discussions about, well, what does marriage even look like to you? What are your expectations in marriage? Because a lot of us didn't have those discussions.
No.
A lot of us did not. And that's one of the exercises that I now have to take my clients through. Like, well, what is your vision for your marriage? And they're like, vision? Like, it's foreign. Like, we have to, because where there is a lack of vision,
everybody perish. Yes.
Where there's a lack of vision, the marriage will perish.
Yes.
So there's not that vision first and foremost. And then we get irritated by things that are being done that we didn't expect to be done, or things are being said. And then we check out of the marriage, because now somehow in our brain, he was supposed to make us happy.
Nah, never.
Talk about that. Why would we even think that our partner is supposed to make us happy? Because you hear people say, you don't make me happy in the marriage.
No.
I don't know that I signed up for that.
That's right. He's not supposed to, because we make ourselves happy. Because another man, they like this, another man's meat is another man's poison. I love the gym. I love to exercise. I like to exercise. I love the gym. I love to take care of myself. These are qualities that I want in me. He doesn't like the gym. I love to be at church most of the time. He doesn't go to church all the time. But that's balance, because I just know who he is. I can't make him do what he doesn't want to do, and he can't make me do what I don't want to do.
Right.
But there's always a balance. We compromise, and that word compromise is a big thing. Yeah. Communication is a big thing, because he can't read your mind and I can't read his mind. So if you're not communicating, there's lack of trust, because you have to communicate how you feel. That's right. I feel this way. I'm just expressing myself. I don't want you to fix it, but I want you to hear me. I say that all the time. I'm not asking you to fix it, but this is what I'm feeling. Just hear me, process it, and we'll discuss it. No fight, no argument. And I'm telling you, this is what I'm feeling. I'm not asking, but this is what I'm feeling. And I just think about it. And then he goes back and says, okay, I hear you. No fight, no argument. And once, I think I've gotten to a stage, once I turned 40 or 50, I got to a point in life, you know what? I'm not fighting. What will be, will be. And I think I had peace. I had peace, because you know what? I'm too old. I'm not starting all over again. I will not start all over. And I've invested too much for me to start all over.
I hear you.
I'm not going to.
So that's very key. So before we get into the change that you made,
Mhm.
how were things before you made the change? Was there ever a time where there was, again, he's not how you were expecting him to be, and you're not how he was expecting you to be, and therefore, at some point, there was this stand up, this Mexican standoff. You don't, you know what? You be over there, I'll be over there. Or how did you even work through things to get to this point where you're like, you know what? I'm too old for this. We're not. My happiness matters more to me than whatever you have going on over there.
I think a lot went through in our marriage when infidelity happened. Not once, not twice, and not 3 times.
Whoa. Okay. That will definitely change the dynamics of things for sure.
Because when those happened, I looked at myself. It's like, okay, what did I do wrong? What was I doing? Did I look pretty enough? And your mind goes, because it's like, okay, don't I look good? And then you see the person. I'm like, this over that? Oh, hell no.
Like, what was he thinking? But then that also gives another deep-seated thought, like which you just said. It starts this whole range of, okay, so if he went for that,
really,
what was he missing then that I wasn't given? You've been through that, I'm sure.
I'm like, wait a minute. So guess what? I looked at me, and I made a drastic. When they said 365, shit. Excuse me. I busted out the gym. Even we get why are you going to the gym? Do you look? I'm like, no, let me do me. So I made him. Because sometimes I'll just go out, and I really didn't go anywhere. I just go and I come back so late at night, tit for tat.
Oh, so you did the tit for tat. Okay, how did that go down? What was his reaction to that, and how did you all move past the tit for tat? Because there are some people that are living in the tit for tat right now, and they have no idea how to get out of it or even to move forward to make some kind of progress.
But the tit for tat, there are boundaries you don't cross. That's what I tell folks.
Okay.
Sometimes I say I'm going to the movies. I'm just walking around the mall for hours.
Mm-hmm.
But then they know what they've done, and their mind is going. Their mind is going like, oh, because they know what they've done, and I didn't do those things, and like the mind is going like, oh, what is she doing? And then I come back home, I jump right in the shower like I've been busy.
Yep, that will make his mind go even further. Like, oh my goodness.
So one time that happened, and it's like, okay, we need to talk. I said, what? I'm just giving back a taste of what you did. It's like, oh, okay. I said, we need to talk. And we did counseling. Finally, we did counseling.
Okay,
good. We went to, what did we do? We went to, say hi to Nikki.
Are you still cooking?
I'm not cooking. Say hi. I'm on a podcast. I'm not cooking. You need to go where I'm on the podcast. Sorry, Nikki. So we did a lot of stuff together. We did counseling. Mm-hmm. We saw DC's. We didn't do it at the church. We did the church, and we says no. The church knew me too well, so they'll be on my side.
Yeah.
So we did a Jewish counselor.
Okay.
We did somebody that nobody knew. Mm-hmm. Person. Nobody knew who it was. So he picked the person, and we did it for a week, and we did that. And that
was a short time. And what came out of that?
We have to look at ourselves and look like, okay, are we ready? Do we want this to work or not?
Mm-hmm. And that's the big question.
Yes, that was the big. Do we want this to work or not? And like, yes, we do. And then you fight for what you want.
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that. Because I know there are a lot of women out here right now that are possibly going through the same, where they're not able to bounce back from infidelity in the marriage. For whatever reason, they just can't. You made some very good points where you started to look, is it me? Why, what about me pushed him away or pushed him to the other side? And I know you know this already. I'm sure you already know, but it had nothing to do with you.
No.
It wasn't you. And that's what I want women to recognize.
But then you would not think it wasn't you.
But you won't.
You won't.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's the message that I want women to understand. If you are in a situation right now where that is your case and it has been some infidelity, you can first, it has nothing to do with you. You could have been the saintest of all saints, done everything right. Mm-hmm. What they will do, they will do.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with you. But secondly, looking inward was very key as well. I love that you did that to see, okay, after you got over was it me? You got over that. Then there was, okay, it wasn't me. But what do I now need to do to stay happy in this marriage? You looked outside of him because now you recognize that he's not the one that's going to bring you happiness. Mm-hmm. So you now said, okay, what was the process like for you to figure out what it was that made you happy and what you wanted to see? Did you just sit and say, this is the list of things that make me happy? Or walk me through how you figured out what happiness means to you and how you got there.
The thing that got me there was, I'm not going to lie, because I got back into the church. I got back into praying, and then I got back into myself, because I looked at okay, what did I do? What was I not doing? Because you have to go back, because sometimes you catch your fish and then you're just, okay, I got what I want. And you don't put any investment in who you are. Mm-hmm. And we let ourselves go. Mm. We always do. That's what we do. We forget, okay, I got what I want. I let myself go. I said, no, let me get back to who Miriam was. Mm. I lost weight. I wasn't big, but you know what? I toned up. Mm-hmm. I dressed sexy. I wore my nice clothes. I didn't wear those boo-boos in the those things that we just forget. Mm-hmm. I know back with the way they rumble, but it's like, no, I didn't do any of that. Mm-hmm. No.
And for those of you that are non-African, Irumbuba is just this big cloth that we kind of wear. It has no shape, form, or whatever. It's just a covering that we just put on when we're lazy. When we're lazy and don't want to do anything. Wow. I remember I never really did the boo-boos and stuff like it. It just never was my style. Mm-hmm. But one thing that I would do early on is I would, those ugly looking head, whatever those caps are.
The bonnet.
My hair, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to leave my bonnet on. And that no. Yes. He goes to work and comes back, after being out there seeing all these pretty women or, working with all these people that came intentionally made up. He now comes home to you in this bonnet. Like, are you kidding?
He met you the same way he left you.
You're right. So those were some of the things that had to be learned along the way. And maybe they had a hand in, just kind of making you all be a little bit distant, but it's not the thing that caused whatever or causes whatever. It's just, it's an added, it's just, what's the word I want to use? Considering those things is just an added bonus. It really does make a man feel appreciated when at least he walks in and you look presentable.
Exactly.
You look like you care.
Exactly.
When he was dating you, you cared enough to dress up and look right.
Exactly. And I became so comfortable in myself. I don't know. It's just like like a switch just came on. And I just had this attitude like, you know what? I'm doing me. I'm doing me. And I just rebarded. It's like, I'm doing me. I'm telling you, my wardrobe, I have now matching underwear and bra. That's me. Everything matching. Because the days I don't like, oh, you're not matching today. It's like, oh, I'm not done yet. It matches me because he's used to that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And somebody's like, you always match? I said, I always match. I've done that for so many years, and then I got into marriage and I stopped. Like, what are you thinking?
Mm.
Why? You had a child, so what? Come on. So so the light bulbs that just came back on, that these are things I used to do. I got married and I stopped. I'm like, oh no, 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 no. I'm going back to that. I'm
Yeah.
going back to sexy Miriam, not the wifey Miriam. Yes, I'm a wife, but I can be sexy at the same time.
At the same time. Amen to that. Amen to that. I love it. Um, I know they always say men are visual. Women are visual too.
Yes. Yes.
I can't stand when they say, but men are visual. I want to see something nice as well. So
Exactly.
don't give me that. When you started making the changes in you, because I
Yeah.
hear you said, I'm doing me, and you're not doing me from a place of I'm doing me, let me show him, but
No, no,
I'm
no, no.
doing me because I need to be happy.
Yes.
I need to find me again.
Yes.
I need to know
Yes.
what this is about for me, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly.
And it was hard because when that infidelity, I'm telling you, when that infidelity happened, not once, not twice, I fell into depression.
I can
Was
understand
I
that.
fell into depression, and I was in a bubble for a whole year. I will come home and I will go to sleep. I will come home and I go to sleep. I won't cook. I won't do anything. I just walked into the house, took a shower, and went to sleep. No,
Wow.
I didn't even know I was depressed. I did not know I was depressed. And I had to shake myself out of that because I was hot and I just couldn't understand me over that. I couldn't take that picture out of my head. And that
Okay.
went for
So
years.
that's a whole different. That's and we all go through different things. So yours wasn't necessarily that he had the affair. It was just the quality of what he had the affair with, or
Yeah,
who. Let me not say what, but
no,
who he
because
had the affair with.
I'm saying to myself, you couldn't get better than this.
Okay, so your situation was, I don't mind that you do it. Just make sure that she is hot, sexy, drop dead gorgeous. I'm cool. At least I'll be like, okay. Is
That was
that?
what was going on in my head. That was what was going on in my head. Like, this
Yes.
for that? I'm like,
Yeah.
seriously? You couldn't do better? But the hurt was there because it's like, okay, what? And I asked myself, I didn't push you to that. You pushed yourself to that.
Yes.
And I always tell people, I said that at church, because most men want this, want that. And I always tell me what you want.
Mm.
Tell me what you want. Teach me what you want. Teach me what you like. Teach me what you want. Somebody else can suit your ego, but you're still coming back home.
Yeah.
Let me know what you want. Do you want me to touch you, feel you? What do you want?
Mm.
Teach me what you like. Just like I tell you what I want, tell me what you want. This is a marriage. The sky is the limit.
We can do anything we
You
want.
can do anything. You want me to hang upside down?
The marriage bed is undefiled. So did he have a hard time letting you know what he wanted, or what was it that made going out there? What maybe he felt that it was easier to teach someone on the outside? Did he ever even explain
We
to
talked
you?
about it, and it's like, oh, it says I changed. I'm like, okay, how did I change?
How did you change?
Because I still ask that. He says, well, you changed. I said, okay, maybe I focused on the children because I've never been a mom before. So the
Mm-hmm.
children took over.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I gave them 100% and maybe got 25%.
Okay.
But guess what? I was exhausted too.
And that's, you see, you're speaking truth. You were tired, you were exhausted, you had children. Were you still working?
Yes.
See? So you were working, you had the children. And this is one of the things that, and I know we're sitting here chastising and saying, oh no, make sure you always look present. It can't always be. You can't
No.
always,
No.
especially earlier on when the children were in the picture and you're running like crazy, going from point A to point B to make sure
Yeah.
everyone was wherever they needed to be. Food was on, looking presentable all the time.
I was a soccer mom. He was traveling
So
twice.
you were always just going from point A to point B.
And then there was one time he was gone for 9 months. He was gone for 9 months, and I thought the marriage was over. He left for 9 months, and I was stuck with 2 children.
So you were a single mom for 9 months.
9 months. And then you come back. We had routines, and you come back, and then you want to take charge. I,
Mm.
I didn't know how to release that because we were gone. I
Mhm.
didn't know how to release because I've taken child bills, this, that. I didn't know how to release that because I'd been in charge for almost a year, and then you want to come back. I want to be the head of the household.
Mm.
I didn't know how to adjust to that.
So
I'm
what
not
did you
going
do?
to.
How did you? Was that a process? What?
Oh,
What?
we fought. We were fighting every day.
Oh
Go
wow.
back to where you came from. That was
Mm.
my. I can do all bad by myself. That was my slogan. And I said that to my bishop because we had same bishop. I said, Bishop, I can do bad all by myself. That's in
Mm.
front of the bishop. I was just done.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, so you've been gone. What do you expect? You've been gone. I'm paying bills. I'm struggling. I was working 80 hours a week.
Wow, that's a lot.
80 hours a week. I was sick in my body. I was,
And that's another thing. You see, because that is, I mean, first, giving birth is its own thing, right? It totally changes our bodies completely,
yes.
what it ever used to be.
Mm-hmm.
We barely heal from it before, here comes the next one or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
we just keep going.
Exactly.
Um, and so the other day, I'm trying, look, these men, I'm trying to tell you, the other day, what were we doing? I was downstairs talking to my husband, and I wish I could remember how the conversation started, but all of a sudden he just says, um, did he say I was a robot or something like that? So I was like, oh, what you mean? He said, I mean, you're just going, going, going all the time. You never get sick. I'm like, oh, so because I'm physically able to just keep on going and physically able to, mentally strong enough to keep on going, you think that's how it's supposed to be? So I now started thinking back to when I first got married, when I had the children, and it now dawned on me that a lot of his hands off, standoffish was, she got it.
Yes.
She got it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an epiphany for me. Like, wow.
Exactly.
And
Now.
so we as women need to figure out a way
Mm-hmm.
that we don't put on the airs of we got it.
Yes.
They recognize, and that's where really honing back in into our femininity comes into play.
Exactly. Some days I just sit there like, oh, please, baby, can you get me a cup of tea? Like, I just
You exactly.
wait a minute. Can you wash my car? I can do all those things. All
Absolutely.
those 9 months, I was doing all that by myself.
Yeah.
So I had to let go. Like, okay, just like we're getting ready to make dinner because I like my things. So I bought his stuff. We bought that. We were gonna make. I made some sauce. So he's gonna cook and he's gonna cook and I'm gonna cook. So I said, can you just cook something I like. that's the. But the good thing is he loves to cook. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. So I don't worry. That department does not face me anymore. So I'm not. I like to cook, but I don't cook all this. I cook light meals. I'm not into all this. I know we do African dishes. I'm not into African dishes. I don't know how to eat all those stuff. I don't eat them. Except when I go out, and even when I go out, I pick the rice against something else because I do not. At home, we didn't do all that because he calls me a jebota. I don't know what that means. I just laugh. Whatever.
Spoiled child is pretty much what that means.
But I'm not. You forget. I am not. We work so hard at home. Because if I tell you my story from home, you will not even believe that part of my life before I came to the States. Nobody would get. They would think I was spoiled, but you guys don't even know. They will not understand.
I know we all have a past that is there, but there's some nuances that we pick up, right? That make us seem,
And then we have to remember we are friends. Friends first.
Yeah.
Friends, correct friends.
Friends. I love that.
Right.
Yeah. You said a few things also. You turned to prayer as well.
Yes.
You had to pray.
I had to pray and let go and forgiveness.
That's it. Forgiveness. So you prayed, you recognize that you both were friends first, you forgave.
Yes, you have to forgive.
What was the process though of you now finding you of you now recognizing that you had stuffed you somewhere for the longest time, and then how did you find you to the point where you now were able to blossom and just become this person? And in that process, did you see any changes in him? Did he recognize the changes and start to change as well, or
Yeah.
what does that even look like?
You know what? The change began when I did a 365. I looked at me.
Mm-hmm.
I started going to the gym. I started because I did marathons. I did marathons, things I never done. I did marathons, I did things that I challenged myself. I did things that I never even thought I would ever do in my life. I traveled by myself one time, alone. I did solo travels alone. And in those little changes that I did, it just gave me this boost that, you know what, you'll be okay. You will be fine. And when he saw that change in me, he's like, okay, am I losing her? His mind was going, okay, I'm going to lose this. I can't lose what I got. She's, because he used to tell me, he would come to me and says, thank you for who you are. And I said, okay, I just look at him like, what are you thanking me for? And I move on. He says, you don't understand, but I'm just thanking you for who you are and who you've made me become who I am.
Mm.
Because when I first got married to Golan, when we were married in the beginning, I'd had my master's and all. I didn't question education back then. He came to me after we were married for maybe 2 years. I have a confession to make. I never finished school. Didn't even dawn on me. He says, I never finished school. I'm like, huh? How come we didn't have that combined? I don't have a degree. Huh? And these were things that came, and I'm like, so I sat there and said, okay, we can work on it together.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to sign up for classes. We're going to do this. And you know what? And I pushed him to the point is he loves, he's getting 2 masters now. 2 masters now. And he says it's all because of you, because you pushed me. And I said, yes, I pushed you. Yes, but I didn't push you. You pushed yourself because you were here and you were trying to get up here. We have to remember that wherever we are, we need to attempt to get higher.
That's right.
Because I always tell folks, I really tell folks, and Bishop preaches that if you're going to marry beneath you, there's going to be a serious problem. Because you're going higher and you're leaving the person behind. Carry them with you.
Mm.
You have to. No matter what you do, you have to bring them with you. And even if that's where you want them to be, respect who they are.
And that's very key.
Respect who they are. When I met my husband, it wasn't where it was today, but look at where he is today. I can stay home and do nothing. I will be okay. But
that's beautiful. Because some of the things that you're talking about are conversations that need to be had before marriage.
Yeah.
But in the event that unfortunately they're not had, which a lot of my generation
can have that.
We didn't have those discussions. I'm sorry. Let's just put it on the line.
Yes,
Very few of us had the discussions.
Yes.
We were just marking time. It's time to get married. Let's get married.
Exactly.
And so the discussions didn't happen. And we had this preconceived notion of what marriage looked like, because the only people that we saw married were our parents, which they did the best that they could with what they knew then. And so it wasn't necessarily ideal either. It was, so I know that I even brought with me some preconceived notions about what marriage should be with me when I, okay, the things I saw my dad do that I felt, I would never, ever, things like that. And as soon as it started to seem as if he was going down that path, my walls went up like, whoa, wait, we're not having that.
Yeah.
But over time,
yes.
Understanding each other, communicating, like you said, just telling them what you want. But I think a lot of us get to that place of understanding each other after there's been this gulf in between. Something happens
Yes.
Why do we wait for that something to happen? Because which means then that until that something happened, we really were not living a true life. We were living
True.
a lie.
Exactly. Exactly. And
I,
we were not even being vocal to what we felt,
vocal, right?
feeling. Because you're just doing like, okay, let me do it because I'm doing. No. Be
And,
who you are from day one.
and that's key because
From day one.
I had to tell a client of mine, she, after rattling off everything that's going on, and it just, I couldn't even hold it. I said, so what you're trying to tell me is all of these years you've been living a lie. And she just looked at me like a doe, like, you know, her eyes wide, and she goes,
Yes.
oh my God, I've been living a lie.
Exactly.
And that's true for a lot of us. Until there's that thing that happens, we don't realize. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the only way that, and then hence the unhappiness, right? We're
Yeah.
tired. We get settled. We now become very settled in our marriage and go, well, you know what? It is what it is. But that's not how God called it to be.
No, no. It's supposed to be.
Not saying that you necessarily have to fix your marriage. That's not the point, but the transformation you go through
Mm-hmm.
will dictate to you either way if you want to fix it
Yes.
or not.
Or not.
And if you don't, at least you're taking you with you. That is now this whole person that knows how to be and have joy in them. So wherever they go, there is joy. And that's the key. You have to find the joy and the peace and the fulfillment in you, no matter what state your
Yeah.
marriage is in.
And should be able to play with one another. We play, we joke, we laugh. You know, there's some things I just see that our sister says, "Oh, Danielle, you know,
You
you
started now.
you just laugh. You know, that Miriam, I've suffered in your hand. I'll just laugh. You know, fun things. There's
Yes.
no animosity. None.
Because you have taken the time to study you. You
Yes.
have taken the time to find the joy within you.
Me.
You have taken the time to understand who you are, whose you are, of whom you are,
Yeah.
and why are you? What is your purpose? And you have figured that out.
Yes.
Hence the reason why you can be where you are. You can bounce back from 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 infidelities and still be okay. Kudos to you.
You know,
That
and
is.
the first thing I said when those things happened, I said, you know what? I worked so hard for this, and you're going to bring that. That's what went into my head. I said, oh, no, no, no. It's not going to happen. I dare you. That was it. I dare you.
Mhm.
And I was ready. I'm like, I worked so hard for this. We've come, and then somebody's going to get the fruit of my labor?
Right.
Hell no.
Mm.
I
And
said,
I
go bring it.
understand that.
Not
But
going to
you
happen.
worked, you did what was necessary to do.
Yes.
But you didn't do it from a place of he's going to make me, he's now, you did what you needed to do. And as you began to blossom, and as the light of who Miriam is started to shine through,
Yeah.
he recognized what he was about to lose.
Lose.
And there is something that I say in my my coaching business. I say it takes 2 to make a marriage work, but it starts with 1, and that 1 is you.
Yes.
Because the moment you begin to make the changes you need to make,
Mm-hmm.
the other party has a choice to make. I can
Exactly.
either stay the exact same way that I am
Exactly.
and lose out, or
That's
I
it.
can make changes as well.
You
And a
know?
lot of times they go opt for the, you know what, let me make the changes that I need to make as well. Even sometimes it's not even intentional. They just start to see that they're dancing to your tune now. And
Yeah,
all before you know what's going on. And that was pretty much the situation in my case. When I thought we were heading for divorce, I made the changes that I needed to make. I started doing the work that I needed to do for me.
Me. Yes.
And he started to come around.
Yes.
And it's not always going to be roses.
No.
Because of the internal joy that you
No.
have,
Yeah.
because you know whose you are and of whom you are, it's not a big deal anymore.
And you know, I had a safe haven because you know the thing about all of this that happened, I didn't even share with family.
Which is good.
I
Because sometimes they make it work.
I didn't share with anybody else. I didn't share because I still left my husband on that pedestal.
Absolutely.
I respect that because I did not see them. I didn't want them to see because I could report him because I'm already forgiven and they have not forgiven him.
Yes.
I didn't want that. So he was on that I left him on that pedestal, and nobody, even if we were fighting at home, when we go out, you wouldn't even know we were fighting.
That's
You
awesome.
will not, because I was myself. I'm like, you will never know, because I never wore my emotions on my sleeve,
That's
ever.
good.
And I made sure that respect was there, because you're going to respect my husband. I don't care who you are.
I love it.
I do not.
So you
And
didn't,
you
through
will
it
not
all, you didn't forget your values. You
know.
didn't forget what you stood for,
No.
but you still fought for what
Yes.
you believed in. I
Yes.
love it.
And
Oh my God, I
he used
love
to say, he used to tell me, there's no divorce in where we come from, but there's no divorce. And and I just laugh.
it.
I
Yeah.
just, because we've seen so many of our friends, many of them, and I'm like, oh my God, they could have done this, they could have done that. But it's like, okay, we just pray for them, because I have friends that have married almost 35 years and they're divorcing. And
Yeah.
I'm asking myself, you do 35 years, the devil you already know, keep to the devil you know. You're looking for somebody else after 35 years?
They may not look for anyone else. They just might be done. But sometimes I don't know that we do all of the work. If they didn't take the time to at least do their internal work, and
Yes,
that is the goal. That is my goal. I will, whatever you choose to do, but do your internal work first, because you're going to take you with you. So wherever
exactly.
you go, if you're still broken and you're hurt and you're upset and there's anger and there's bitterness,
You're
you're
going
taking
with
that
you.
with you.
Yes,
At least take care of
of
that.
yourself.
Let's
I
run
always tell,
through that. Let's talk through it. Let's figure out
yes,
how we can get rid of that, how we can move on from that, and then
yes,
make that decision of, based off of where I am now, these are the things that I can or cannot allow. And that's
exactly.
the key.
Mhm.
So divorces, there's a lot of them. I'm just hoping one of my goals is to make sure, of course, I do not want divorces. My
But
number one,
to me, our bishop said, if there's abuse, run.
of
I mean,
course. And
run.
I'm not talking about if there's anything untoward, anything that God will not be happy about, that God will you not want
Yeah,
happen, there is no,
no,
but even with that, okay, let's think about, not abuse for sure, not, but the only other thing in the Bible that gives you a sanction to be able to get divorced is infidelity, and
yeah,
yet you stayed. So I say that to say, even whatever those things are, even if it can be worked out where that person
hmm,
gets the help they need, and then maybe we can start to talk about, all right, how do we reconvene here and get things reconcile and get things back
that,
on track. So
mhm,
there's work to be done on both ends, but the
yeah,
work starts with us, and
us,
that's the key. That's the
yeah,
key that I want to
it
let
has.
a lot of the wives know.
Yes,
You
and
can
I
either
love it.
leave it as is and it just stays the same, and then
Amen.
you're unfulfilled, you're angry, you're upset, you're miserable,
Exactly. Yeah.
or you start to make the changes and start to look inward to find
Yes.
that happy within you, and
Amen.
then just watch God do the rest. Oh my gosh, this has been such a
Yes.
rich discussion. But before I let you go, one more thing. What does it mean to you to be a wife that thrives?
Being who I am,
Hmm.
being who I am, what you see is what you get. Because I'm not pretending anymore. I'm not. I'm not. Who I am, what you see is what you get. And the two things I do, and I tell folks, communication is key.
Amen.
You have to communicate, even if it's over and over again. Communicate. They can't read our minds.
That's right.
They cannot. If you feel one way, let them know. Because I find, in the beginning, I used to bottle stuff up. I
Mm,
just bottled it. I didn't express myself. But now I just I express myself, but with respect.
with respect.
With respect, because that's what men hunger for.
Mm,
Respect. That's the key.
that's
Respect.
right.
That's the key for them. If you respect them, they will honor you till the end.
That's it. That's
And
right.
communication. I'm telling you, communicate. If that's all you do, over communicate, keep communicating.
Mm,
After a while, the light bulb will turn on.
yes.
I'm telling you. Yeah,
I
it
love
does.
it. I
It
love
does.
it.
It
I love
does.
it. Oh my gosh, this has been
It
rich.
does.
You dropped so many nuggets, and I'm hoping, Queens, that you heard Miriam's heart. There, you can definitely bounce back from infidelity, but work has to be done. You have to do your part, and make those decisions in your mind. So no matter what might be going on, no matter what stage or whatever might be going on in your marriage, just recognize that if you can find the happy within you, you can
Yes.
find
I want
fulfillment
to say
once again.
something. Let me say something real quick. I know some folks don't believe infidelity. You walk away, you walk away. That sometimes you have to want what you want. I'm not saying it's okay. It's not okay. It's not okay. Some people cannot accept it and some people will not accept it. But if you're one that would want to fight for your marriage and there's infidelity, it's okay. No matter what people say, let it roll off your shoulder. Do not let them put a guilt trip on you like, why are you accepting that? No. Do not let anybody put that, well, I would never do that. Says who? They're not wearing your shoes. So
Mm,
they don't know. So I'm just gonna encourage for if that's not for you, it's okay. But if somebody says they will fight for what they want regardless, it's okay also.
amen.
It's not a look down. Don't look down on anyone. Do not. It's not that. It,
Wow.
it's not.
Fight for what you want, Queen. Fight
Yes.
for it. Don't sit in it. Don't wallow in it. Don't be, just fight. Do
And
the
listen
fight
to what
that
you
you
want because don't listen to the naysayers. I'm sorry.
absolutely,
That is something I tell folks. Do what's best for you.
absolutely.
Nobody knows, but you know what's best for you. But you know what you want.
Mm,
No one can tell you what you want. And seek the Lord, pray about it. Pray about it and forgive. When I say forgive, you forgive, but you remember. You forgive, you remember, and yet you think because it took me a minute, but forgive and let go.
yeah.
Let go and don't. I don't. Sometimes I laugh because we joke about it now. We laugh because it reminds me of things I say, but we laugh about it now because we've weathered the storm together.
Together. Yes, you've worked on each other. You've done your work. He's done his work, and you've weathered the storm together. And now it's a thing of the past that you have grown from, and now you're teaching others how to grow from it, which is
Yeah.
amazing because you just helped a whole lot of queens out here today that have had that thought. Can I take him back? Should I take him back? I had someone ask me that question once. Should I stay? And I said, what would be your reason to leave? Well, he cheated. But what is the reason though? I mean, is that enough to say that and she thought about it and she chose to work it out and figure things out. And, and I commend her to this day, and you did the same. And so
Mhm.
there's nothing new under the sun. Like the Bible
No.
always tells us, there's nothing new under the sun. We just have to know what it is for us that we want.
Yes.
Make that choice, make that decision, and live in that, and don't turn
Yes.
back.
That's it.
That's it,
Live it.
queens. You
Live
heard
it.
it. You heard it from Miriam herself. A lot of nuggets that she dropped. No matter what you're going through, do
Yes.
not wallow. And if you need any help, like she said, reach out for the help that you need. Make
Exactly.
it work. But do
Yes.
not let yourself go. Do the work that you need to do. And at the end of the day, everything will work out the way
Oh,
it needs to, with
always.
His grace, by God's glory, and
Amen.
and His grace and mercy. And at the
Always.
end of the day, you all will just be one. It works out the way it needs to work out,
Exactly.
and that's the key. But the work has to start. So
Yes.
start the work, and then watch how you reap the fruits of your
Hey,
labor.
that's
So
what I'm doing.
until the next time, my queens, until we bring you the next episode, thank you for listening and have an amazing day. And I will see you the next time. But I want you to know that I see you, I hear you, and I believe in you. You got
Amen.
this, queen. Chat
Amen.
later. Bye.